Thanks for being here today. I think I gave everybody permission to record. If I have not, please let me know. Um, and we will get started. Coach, I'll ask the first question after the first week of games. What do you think your team needs to work on most heading into week two?
Well, I'll start with how excited I am about this team. They play extremely hard on both ends of the floor, and I love that we play team basketball. The second thing is we've had a lot of opportunity to play different lineups, excited about the versatility in which this team brings. Also, Chas and Dre have really stepped up in the first two games. So I like that we have people that are capable and willing to step up. And the last thing that I'm extremely excited about is that Ryan Howard will return to the floor for this game. So I look forward to putting her in the mix. But as far as what we need to work on offensively, offensive execution, I think we need to be sharper in our spacing, timing, setting screens, and really taking what the defense gives us. So making better decisions. Defensively, we have just talked about one-on-one defense, keeping someone in front of you, getting to help side, as well as finishing our defense with a box out.
Okay, we'll start with questions. We'll go with Howard Megdal.
Hi, Coach. Howard Mental with the Nets.
Hello.
Welcome. I have a two-part question for you, if I could. And just the first part of it to start is to take over when you have, as you have, is a challenge unlike anyone I think can reasonably have faced. I'm wondering if you could take me through just some of the unique challenges you've experienced and any particular solutions that you've come up with along the way over this early period.
Great question. I think anytime you're taking over a program and you're following someone like Coach Mitchell that has been extremely successful, that is tough in itself. Also, just dealing with COVID and the social issues that we are dealing with, that is like no other. So I think I am figuring it out just like the rest of the coaches across the country. And I just think being flexible, taking every day as they come. Some days I just hold my breath, waiting for the COVID test. So just take it minute by minute, day by day. But also just being open to the players, having honest conversations, how they are feeling, what they need, and being surrounded by amazing staff that can take so much off your plate that I can just focus on the issues at hand. And last, I would just say having amazing mentors and colleagues in this business. Coach Mickey DeMoss sends me messages, challenges my thoughts. Coach Lynn Dunn is on staff with us, and I promise I receive about 10 text messages a day, just making sure that I'm prepared. And then just getting advice from other coaches in the business has been a big help.
If I could follow up on that, and please give Lynn my regards next time you speak to her.
Will do.
But specifically the decision making around Ryan Howard, and to make a decision like that so early in your tenure, I'm wondering how much that had to do with accountability. Without getting into specifics or details about the what, I'm curious what your process was for that and how important you think it was to make that decision at that time.
Well, it was a tough decision. Obviously, it's not a decision that you want to make anytime in your career when you're talking about a player of Ryan's caliber. However, this program is built on honesty, hard work, and discipline, and our winning attributes. One of them are accountability. And so, like I've addressed before, I love them enough. Our staff loves them enough that we are not going to turn our head. Our job is to prepare them for life after basketball and life after Kentucky, and we want them to be successful on and off the court. And so, in turn, sometimes you have to make tough decisions. It's like parenting. It does not come with a rule book. You just have to go with your gut, and they might not like it, but it is the best thing for them at that time. Our job is to guide, lead, inspire, impact, and that's what we're here to do.
Larry Vaught.
Kyra, when you mentioned about the COVID issues, I just kind of wonder if you could talk a little bit about what protocols your teams had, and do you have a full roster still right now going forward? I mean, have you been able to not have any issues with that?
Well, there are a lot of protocols, and Courtney Jones, our trainer, Jim Madalino, and our whole medical staff have been amazing in keeping us informed and laying out what we need to do to keep everyone safe. I mean, obviously, social distance, wear our mask, we space out in practice, but there are a lot of things that we must do in order to play. Sacrifice time away from our family and friends to keep everyone in our bubble, per se, safe. So there has been a big sacrifice, but our players are willing, our coaches are willing to do those things in order for us to have a basketball season. And also small things that you don't think about, like Courtney, our trainer, talked to me today, even how we sit in timeouts, where I have the point guard sitting in the middle, the guards on the right, the post on the left. She just reminded me today, when we come to timeouts, make sure people are not sitting next to the same person every time. So those are things as a basketball coach you don't always think about, or how they're standing behind the people that are sitting to make sure that we are spaced out. Constantly reminding them in practice, stay away from each other, get on the X across the baseline, the sideline, spaced out in our huddles. Things like going to pregame meals that we haven't had to encounter, putting on gloves to touch the ice or to get utensils. So it is a lot, but it is worth it if we want to play basketball.
And have you been able to avoid any kind of negativity or anything like that? Have you still got everybody with you and everything? While other teams are having a lot of issues, you're still okay?
Well, I think we've had our fair share of issues, just like everyone. We've had to have people in and out of practice. However, that is part of what we're dealing with, and that's why we say we must stay resilient and mentally tough to get through all of these times.
Zach O'Hagan.
Hey Coach, you got a full week under your belt now, 2 games. My biggest question is, how has the transition been just from moving one seat down? What is the most noticeable part about it that has kind of hit you? And if there was even, something that you kind of were unexpected for and is kind of, or a situation that's arose like that. Just curious about your first week so far.
I think the biggest thing of moving one seat over, the game is moving so fast. There are so many things happening, so many decisions that you need to make, where when you are an assistant coach, you are honed in on what you are responsible for, whether that's guard play, whether that's transition defense. And when you're standing as a head coach, you're watching the overall picture, trying to think about the decisions that you need to make, also getting input from several different people and having to make the final decision instead of just I'm suggesting these things. I think that has been the biggest change. But again, I am so grateful for an amazing staff with Nia Butts and Amber Smith and Daniel, their basketball knowledge. I totally trust them. They know what we need to do to be successful, so they give me great advice, and it helps to have a talented team as well.
Missy Hedrick. Missy, can you hear us? There you go.
Yeah, hi Coach, Missy Heydrich. I'm on the call for ESPN Plus for the game on Thursday. So had a few questions for you, probably more strategic game-like scenarios. This program that you've been a part of for a long time has prided itself on setting the tone defensively. So how does this group grade out for you right now through 2 games and your practices? Where do you see this group defensively?
I really thought we took a step forward in the second game. I challenged them the first game. I did not like our energy defensively. I didn't think we came out with the mindset or the energy that I was looking for. So game 2, we're getting a step closer. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do, but we are still forcing turnovers. I thought we did a better job of limiting the straight line drives, really tried to finish our defense with a box out. We have really committed to that in practice. Coach Nia Butts has been over our defense. So she does an amazing job of challenging our players, putting them in position to be successful. So we have work to do, but it just goes back to those 3 things. These are the things that we're focusing on. One-on-one defense, making people score over you, flooding help side, sprinting to help, and committing 5 people of getting a box out. And K-State is going to force us to do that. They are a tough team. They're skilled offensively, and they're extremely big. So this is the most size that we have faced in a while with a 6'6" and a 6'7" post player. So we must box out.
I know depth is a kind of the buzzword that every coach around the country is using this year. I think because of this COVID environment. So obviously you have quite a bit of depth at multiple positions, but you also have a lot of new faces that you've blended with transfers and freshmen. So how is that kind of putting this roster together? How's that been going so far?
Well, it's going well, but it is a work in progress. I mean, we have 3 freshmen that we are trying to get up to speed. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. They are getting baptized by fire. They missed a whole summer, and now that we've thrown them into games, but they are all very talented. They are going to help this program. So it's just we have to let them experience the process. Even the newcomers, they have college basketball experience, but they have never played at Kentucky. They've never played our style. So it is a transition. And, some days and some games will look better than others. But I think at the end of the day, we will get to where we are trying to go and achieve the things that we're trying to achieve. But it is a work in progress daily.
I've got one more question for you, and then I'll let the others on the call jump in. I know you mentioned size going into this Kansas State game tomorrow night. So what are some of the keys for you, maybe where your focus has been? And I know there's things that keep coaches up at night as you prepare for games. So what's that thing that's not letting you get some sleep heading into tomorrow?
6'6" and 6'7" has kept me up at night. But one thing that we've really emphasized with our players as we started to prep for K-State, our post defense will start with our guards. We really have to bring great ball pressure, and we really have to get to help side. We are asking our post, they have a big task in front of them, but it will take everyone to help them get the job done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Larry Vaught.
Sorry, Kari, it takes me a while to find that little switch to get you back on there. But I just wonder, sometimes when a star player, when you have to discipline them, sometimes they can pout, sometimes they can come back on fire, really motivated by what happens to them. What have you kind of sensed from Ryan while she's had to just sit down and watch and other players really step up and have big games? What have you sensed from her? What are you expecting tomorrow?
The thing about Ryan, she has held herself accountable the whole time. She has taken responsibility for her actions. You know, she apologized to the staff and team for putting us in this position, and I commend her for that. She has been great on the bench as far as energy, trying to, coach the other players. And then what we talked about yesterday is she will take the floor, but it is still team basketball, and I want her to play within herself, and we will continue to play as a team. I don't want her to feel like she has to go out and make heroic plays. I just want her to play basketball and do the things that she does best, and greatness will come out. But there's other people on the floor that can help her get the job done. So that's what we're focusing on, team basketball.
John
Thank
Wong.
you.
Hi, Kyra. Good morning.
Good morning.
I assume that Ryan is going to start in the next game. My general question is, in regard to your philosophy on the timing of determining the starters, how quickly do you like to know beforehand, and how quickly do you let your players know that they're going to be in the starting lineup?
Well, it just really depends on our game preparation, how many days that we have in between. All the players will know at least a day before the game who will start, but I like to wait and determine that in practice. We talk a lot about you earn your playing time in practice. So that's what we do, and they know what they need to do to get in the rotation.
Howard Megdal.
Coach, a little on treasure hunt, if I could. Obviously somebody coming in with a pedigree like she has, you have certain expectations. You spoke about the size of K-State, right? And so, your guard's helping out. Having a 6'1" guard be able to do the defensive end, I would think would be an added advantage. And then I'm hoping you can speak just more generally about what success looks like for her in year one.
Treasure Hunt comes in highly touted. She was a McDonald's All-American. She is extremely talented and gifted. But for Treasure, it still goes back to she is a freshman. She is still trying to learn. She is a work in progress. Offensively, she has the tools. She can shoot the three. She can get to the rim. She can shoot a pull-up jumper. The hardest thing for her right now is playing at the intensity and at pace that we need her to play consistently on both ends of the floor, but that's normal for freshmen. So Treasure will have a great impact on this program. It will take her time, and we are going to allow her the time to find her place and figure out what she needs to do to achieve her goals here, but it will happen. It might just take more time than what we really want her to have.
Last question to Zach.
Hey, Coach, you gave Emma King the first two starts this season. She struggled a bit, couldn't really get in a rhythm. What has your message been to her through those first two games and kind of going forward, trying to keep her confidence up?
Emma and I just talked. She has worked extremely hard. She earned that position. She has shot the ball extremely well in practice. They hadn't fallen for her in the game, but they will. So my message is to stay confident, continue to work. Good things will happen. We believe in you. And most importantly, try to think of the positives that you're doing on the floor. So maybe your shot is not falling, but you're getting a defensive stop. You are getting in the right place in transition defense. You're trying to be a vocal leader. So she's bringing some positives to the table, even though her shot is not falling right now. But it will.
And actually, we'll go to Missy for our last one.
Coach, one more question for you. Just thinking about this group, we talked about them defensively, but offensively, you put 86 in your first game, 70 in the second. When is this group going to, or I guess I should say, where do you think they're best at offensively? And what kind of focus of things going into tomorrow night have you guys talked about that are going to be critical to be able to score, control tempo, things like that?
Well, I think what we're best at right now is pushing the pace. We play up tempo. We want to try to score in transition. It's been great to have a post presence when our outside shot is not falling. We were able to throw the ball inside to Dre and Olivia Owens, and they were finishing in the paint, so that keeps the defense honest. What we're focusing on going into K-State, using the ball screens, using our screens, and then just working on our timing. We have the tendency right now, it's great that we're playing up tempo, but sometimes in the half court, we're playing about 80 miles per hour, so we're missing some of what the defense is giving us. So we want them to play fast, but we need to be able to slow down and execute more in the half court.
Great, thanks everybody for being here today. We will send out a link tomorrow for our post-game Zoom news conference, and that will be, I know here we've been doing it with Coach, home and visiting team, but that will be just us tomorrow. Kansas State will have their own link, so I will send that out tomorrow. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.